Let's move on to segment 2. And this is important because we are into early February. It's about this time of year. It's a club cricket focus that we're doing here. It's about this time of year that people start considering and reflecting upon their season and thinking, will I play next season? You started the season in pre-season. You went to some kind of club culture night where there was a whiteboard and someone who spoke in new ageisms like Justin Langer does, got up there and said, how are we going to improve our club culture? What are your goals this year? Write them down, and you say you're going to score 800 runs and take 25 wickets despite having never done that in your life before. We are going to run through the reasons why this hasn't been your season, nor our season, in broadcast terms. Boy, I mean, who would like to kick off here? We've got 6 reasons here. Does anyone like to kick off?
There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll start off. Okay. Well, number 6 is that you are continually placed in the bad net. Now, obviously, when you go to training, there are 3 nets at all times. The first grade net is number 1 net. The middle net is the kind of fence sit net where you're like, oh, I could play a bit of 2s, but I'm probably going to play 4s. And then there's what's known as the shit net. Now, the shit net is one of the worst places you can be seen in society because you'll be bowled continually by guys wearing jeans at training or training in whites, training in black trainers, that kind of thing. I mean, none of these things are good things that to be happening to you, but that's why you are continually failing at cricket and considering your place in the squad next year.
It's hard to get out of the shit net as well. Once you're in it, you know, it's something of a purgatory in cricket terms. It's very difficult to get your way out of the shit net because you're playing against shit bowlers.
And I'd probably suggest to turn up in a suit to training because you're afforded disproportionate respect out of the fact that you're wearing a suit. And I say that even in the full knowledge that the commission into the banks has come down. So the Royal Commission has actually been and 76 rulings and 24 suggested criminal indictments. Despite that, still head down in a suit. I think people will afford you disproportionate respect, and you might be able to bat in net 2 or net 1. I
think nothing that scares grade cricketers more than guys who have a job.
Number 5, this is well suggested from Higgos earlier, was my $899 bat doesn't have the low middle that I or you prefer, which is, you know, a bad tradesman blames their tools. That's essentially what it is. But that's a reason you haven't succeeded.
Yeah, I mean, that is the joke. I mean, sure, you would have picked up the bat. I mean, basically what you're trying to do is you have to buy the bat which matches your pad and gloves, therefore giving the impression that you are sponsored, even though you're not. You're heavily in debt. You have 4 different credit cards spread across 5 different banks. That doesn't even make any sense.
It's funny how, like, interoperability is very important in cricket. Like, you cannot have different brands on you. You must adhere to the brand that you've chosen and stick to it till you die.
Very funny.
Yes.
Okay, number 4 here, guys. And I think interoperability. And a very important one. Concern over your individual carbon footprint. So obviously, driving to training is very harmful on the environment. You know, increased CO2 emissions. I mean, global warming is a serious problem at the moment. And sometimes, you know, as millennials, we think about whether going to training is even good for the environment. So driving to training in a car equals fuel, fuel equals, you know, impacting on the environment and the future of your unborn children. So I think we can all have some kind of concern over our individual carbon footprint, and maybe that's why it hasn't been your season.
Yeah, and these are consistently the thoughts that go in your mind where you're thinking, should I go to training or not? Or should I just finish this game of FIFA that I've been playing for the last 3 days?
And this is our time where we are putting a call out to Cricket Australia and Kevin Roberts. Become carbon neutral, please, because the whole future of grade cricket depends on it. Too many of us are far too concerned about our individual carbon footprints.
Even though, as we know, global warming is a myth created by the Chinese government.
We have said that
Could you offset your carbon emissions by, you know, a little donation to grade cricket or Cricket Australia? Maybe you could put that fund towards you know, helping fight global warming.
I could see that.
Just some suggestions, just making some political suggestions on television.
You pay your umpire's fee or your match fee, depending on what kind of level of cricket you play at, that you just add a little dollar on. Yeah,
or just your subs. Just $2 goes towards saving the world.
But no one pays subs, that's the problem.
Well, we'll never fight global warming.
Okay, lads, number 3 here, reasons why you have this has not been your season is, of course, the slow rollout of the NBN. Now, it's a huge issue here in Australia. You're probably sitting at home wondering, well, what has the NBN got to do with my cricket season? Well, everything. I mean, if you're
even able to watch this video, I mean, the buffering could be a massive problem in its own right.
And that's the meta joke.
I mean, a lot of people have experienced, you know, the joy of watching Damien Martin's cover drive on repeat on YouTube over and over again, and just trying to, you know, experience what he experienced at the elite level of 4th grade cricket that you're experiencing right now. So the NBN has a huge impact on grade cricketers.
How are you meant to do any data analysis on my cricket if your NBN connection's so slow that it just keeps buffering? You know, or what if your own cricket results, such as mine, have not been uploaded into my cricket, which has nothing to do with the NBN and more about the poor issues at my own club? I apologise, I digress.
Why don't clubs have an ATM machine at all points? It's got to be cash only. We live in a cashless society. Great cricket.
Why
clubs.
don't they have pokey machines in the clubhouse? And why don't those revenues get directed? I don't know. Sorry, I'm on absolute tear tonight.
Number 2, reasons this hasn't been your season: unrequited throwdowns. Now we're all familiar with this. This is probably a little bit more familiar than, say, the slow rollout of the NBN or carbon footprints. But this is just that simple exchange, that simple love exchange, that Shakespearean exchange of delivering and receiving throwdowns at training. There's a lot of people out there who like to receive but don't like to give. And if you're one of these people, then you have probably had a bad season. Well, it's like because you must give.
It's like, yeah, absolutely. You know, being a generous lover, being a generous giver of throwdowns, very important for the health of a relationship and your batting average. Okay, number 1, lads, we're finally there. And this one is a bit abstract possibly, but number 1, your pre-season goals were wildly ambitious, thus your sense of success and failure is deeply skewed. A little bit existential, as you said at the top. You know, you thought at the start of the season you'd hit 1,000 runs and take 60 wickets, and as each week unfolded, you know, your outcomes, your goals changed and were rated down, continually revised to the point where you should probably just leave the game of cricket.
It's a bit far-fetched, this one, I think.
Yeah,
I think the reasons above are probably better reasons for the failure of your season and the reason to never come back and play again. But I guess there is something to be said for just having an awareness of your own actual ability. And you know, cricket is a game that lends itself to manipulation and lies, and perhaps you should consider whether you're doing that to yourself. Then again, perhaps we only do that to continue surviving in this dark and increasingly dark world. Yeah.
It would actually help us more if more of you actually failed. That's actually the good thing for us. So more
failure is good for our comedy.
Yes, correct. Yep.
More failure.